2018 BMW 3 Series Saloon Review. The good points of BMW 3 Series Saloon. Engaging handling irrespective of engine. Comfort isn't spared for agility. Generous equipment levels. Performance efficiency balance. The bad points of BMW 3 Series Saloon. Interior doesn't feel as premium as some rivals. Ride is usually unsettled without adaptive dampers. Cabin isn't the roomiest on this segment. Wide selection of expensive options. For 6 generations the BMW 3 Series Saloon has dominated the compact executive car market. Subscribe to watch around the all-new 2019 BMW 3 Series Saloon. Find BMW 3 Series cars available on. It's the saloon that rival manufacturers benchmark against, regarding desirability, drivability and quality, among several facets. And while some match or perhaps surpass the BMW in some areas, it remains for the pinnacle of excellence in this particular segment. Should you overlook the alternatives within the shapes in the Audi A4 Saloon, Jaguars, Lexuses and Mercedes-Benz Class to call but a few? Not at all, though the likelihood is you'll revisit to these series for the all-round abilities. There's not only the Saloon, either, using the ever-popular estate-bodied 3 Series Touring vying within the practicality stakes alongside the hatchback-bodied 3 Series Gran Turismo. Plus, in the event you're in search of something more lithe and slinky, the closely related two-door 4 Series Coupe and Convertible, the replacements for previous generations of 3 Series Coupe and Convertible, are purchased alongside the 5-door 4 Series Gran Coupe. BMW 3 Series price causes it to become popular with private and business customers. Not only may be the BMW 3 Series Saloon understandably excellent for wish list for most private buyers, it's additionally a sought-after company car. Why? Well, if you're in business seeking a good motorway cruiser which has a premium badge, excellent fuel economy and pin-sharp handling, then a 5 diesel model is specifically proof for being great all-rounders. Choose the fuel miserly ways from the 320d efficient dynamics and claimed diesel consumption is quoted at 72.4 miles per gallon. BMW 330e Review boasts surprisingly low running costs. It's not the most beneficial of 3 Series, though. That honor goes towards the plug-in petrol-electric hybrid 330e, quoted at 148.7 miles per gallon. The real-world figure, especially far away from urban environments, won't be that astonishing when you drive it as an equivalent diesel model. However, its handling can be as impressive as other 3 Series derivatives, and it is capable of running on electricity alone for 25 miles. The low CO2 figure of 44 GkM is music to your ears of company car drivers who value such agreeable benefit-in-kind tax levels. Petrol for enthusiasts. BMW hasn't forgotten enthusiasts who prefer the purity of petrol engines, with 4 inside the main lineup and the humble 318i for the boisterous 340i. These are anticipated to become more popular than ever as diesel is lost of favor. Most designs include rear-wheel drive. Nevertheless, for those picking out the security of all-wheel drive, then BMW 3 Series X-Drive versions are worth hunting out. BMW M3 features a legacy to reside in up to. Topping the 3 Series lineup in price as well as terms could be the latest BMW M3 Saloon, bearing a badge that's become fabled in motoring enthusiast circles in the last 3 decades. Turbocharging the M3's 6-cylinder 3.0-liter engine has liberated 431 horsepower, elevated to 450 horsepower when new plump with the sharper BMW M3 competition package. Choose the latter together with the M double clutch transmission, a gearbox that behaves just like an automatic, with an impressive 4.0-second 062 miles per hour time. BMW 3 Series specs and quality. In events of yore, premium German saloons were sparsely equipped, the argument being you were paying instead with the engineering excellence. While that may have been true, it won't wash with contemporary techs of V buyers, so whether you opt for the SE, Sport, M Sport or M Sport Shadow Edition 3 Series saloon, you'll discover it bristling with equipment including LED lights front and back, dual-zone climate control and sat-nav. Where the 3 Series is beginning to show its age, this 6th iteration was published in 2012, is to use its interior and tech. There's no doubting it's well assembled, plus the technology still feels current, but rivals have upped the ante with regard to quality. Step to a 3 Series having spent time inside an Audi A4 and you'd be forgiven for assuming there seemed to be a £10,000 price differential. BMW electrical fault recall in 2018. In May 2018 there were publicity inside the mainstream media using a BBC watchdog investigation of a recall affecting 312,000 BMWs inside UK, a result of an electrical fault that can cause some cars to slice out and stall when they were being driven, as well as catch fire. It specifically concerns BMWs built between March 2007 and August 2011. It may affect the previous generations of 3 Series Saloon and 3 Series Touring, in addition to the sportier 3 Series Coupe and 3 Series Convertible lineups. The verdict: sharp-suited looks, dynamics honed to prioritize driving pleasure over outright comfort, plus a broad selection of powertrains to accommodate those aiming to maximize efficiency or speed. Other compact executives tend to be spacious, some feel more luxurious, and some are even faster. But none of those is a BMW 3 Series Saloon. BMW 3 Series Saloon Review. Efficient and fast diesel range. Broad array of petrols, too. Rapid M3 carries a legacy to resign up to. Few cars on discount sales have an engine lineup as broad since the selection available with the BMW 3 Series Saloon, and even though it can appear quite daunting, the premise is always that there's a model that meets your needs, whether you're prioritizing performance or efficiency. Economical 3 Series Saloon diesels. Despite all of the bootleg badges, you can find only 2 basic diesel engines inside 3 Series range, albeit with some other power and torque outputs, rarely carry out the numbers connect with engine capacities because they did in years gone by. Case in point could be the entry-level 316D, powered by way of a 4-cylinder, turbocharged 2.0-liter motor producing just 116 horsepower, but an even more useful 270 Nm of torque at merely 1,250 revolutions per minute, turning it into a flexible unit. A 6-speed manual gearbox is standard, with the 8-speed automatic elective, both directing drive towards the rear wheels. A top speed of 125 miles per hour is usual to both, although at 10.6 seconds, the auto's a tenth of your second quicker compared to manual within the 0.62 miles per hour sprint. The same engines cranked as much as 150 horsepower and 320 Nm of torque at 1,500 revolutions per minute within the 318D, using the same gearbox options as before. Performance is much more agreeable. Both transmission types will reach 134 miles per hour and again the automatic's quicker 0.62 miles per hour, 8.4 seconds versus the manual's 8.6 second time. Most fuel efficient with the diesel range would be the 320d Efficient Dynamics, using a 163 horsepower addition with the 2.0-liter engine, producing 400 Nm of torque at 1,750 revolutions per minute. Despite its economy focus, it's pleasingly quick, with both manual and automatic versions reaching 143 miles per hour, with 0.62 miles per hour points during the 7.9 and 7.8 seconds, respectively. The regular 320d has all the more grunt, with 190 horsepower, albeit using the same torque figure since the ED, but regardless of the increase it's not significantly quicker. 0.62 Mach times during the 7.3 seconds manual and 7.2 seconds auto complement the 146 miles per hour top speed. All-wheel drive may also be added to both transmissions inside guise on the 320d X-Drive, although there's a tiny drop in performance for that reason. Both have a premier speed of 145 miles per hour. Together with the manual's 7.4-second 0.62 miles per hour time being 0.1 seconds slower compared to automatic. Automatic would be the only transmission on the 330d, the first with the diesels that has a 6-cylinder, 3.0-liter engine. With power ramped as much as 258 horsepower is actually 560 Nm of torque on tap from 1,500 revolutions per minute, it's an instant saloon. Top speed is electronically governed to 155 miles per hour, having a 0.62 miles per hour use of 5.6 seconds. Additional traction within the 330d X-Drive, also automatic, shaves the 0.62 miles per hour time into 5.3 seconds, although it's not the quickest diesel 3 Series. That honor belongs for the 335d X-Drive, still automatic only, but still running a few .0-liter diesel, although here it creates 313 horsepower and 630 Nm of torque at 1,500 revolutions per minute. It's still capped to 155 miles per hour all-out, however its 4.8-second 0.62 miles per hour ensures it's only beaten in acceleration terms through the M3. Performance-focused 3 Series saloon patrols. The unusual sound emanating from your 318i is characterful thrum of an 3-cylinder engine, with this case exactly the same turbocharged 1.5-liter unit obtained in various Mini Coopers. At 136 horsepower, sufficient reason for 220 Nm of torque at 1,250 revolutions per minute, its output is fairly modest, but as with most with the range, manual and automatic transmissions are stored on offer. Both have a premier speed of 130 miles per hour, the manual's 8.9-second 0.62 miles per hour time trumping the automatic's 9.1-second time. A 4-cylinder 2.0-liter power plants underneath the bonnet from the 320i, producing 184 horsepower and 270 Nm of torque at 1,350 revolutions per minute. It's surprisingly pacey given its lowly ranking from the hierarchy, using a 146 miles per hour top speed and 0.62 miles per hour times during the 7.2 and 7.3 seconds for that manual and automatic, respectively. All-wheel drive security is available from the form on the otherwise mechanically similar 320i X-Drive, but there's a tiny reduction rolling around in its performance. Top speed dips to 144 miles per hour, with 0.62 miles per hour times for both transmissions increasing by 0.3 seconds. Despite its 330i badging, both the .0-liter engine also features here, with outputs elevated to 252 horsepower and 350 Nm of torque at 1,450 revolutions per minute. Top speed is governed towards the familiar 155 miles per hour ceiling with both gearbox types, but at 5.8 seconds the automatic's a tenth of your second quicker versus the manual inside the 0.62 miles per hour dash. There is usually a 6-cylinder, 3.0-liter petrol engine from the 340i, though, with 326 horsepower offered and torque peaking at 450 Nm at 1,380 revolutions per minute. Top speed remains at 155 miles per hour, however the 0.62 miles per hour time is pared into 5.1 seconds to the automatic, 5.2 for that manual. Urban frugality for your plug-in hybrid. The suffix on the 330e describes electricity, signifying that this will be the petrol-electric plug-in hybrid with the 3 series range. A computerized gearbox will be the sole choice here. That familiar 2.0-liter engine features yet again, paired up having an electric motor giving a theoretical zero-emissions variety of 25 miles. But, coming from a performance perspective, a combined production of 252 horsepower and 420 Nm of torque means it's no slouch. Top speed is 140 miles per hour, which has a 6.1 second 0.62 miles per hour time. Performance flagship, the BMW M3. Packing a 431 horsepower would be the latest iteration on the M3, solely available to be a 4-door saloon considering that the coupe and convertible versions are badged M4. Nestled from the engine bay is really a 6-cylinder 3.0-liter unit, distinctive from that within the 340i, which has a pair of turbos. Turbocharged engines are infamous for lag lower down within the rev range, the place that the performance is pretty ordinary prior to the spools and the forced induction system start working. Not out of your tender. Its set of small, light-weight turbos possess a short inlet tract and incredibly effective cooling in the air that's passing through them. In short, more torque can be obtained at lower engine speeds, with 550 Nm itching to get deployed in the rear wheels from just 1,850 revolutions per minute. It's not peaky in their delivery either. The rev counter's needle arcing smoothly to 5,500 revolutions per minute without the need of tangible even performance. There's the merest of breathers on each gear change, ahead of the revs rapidly rise again demanding your next ratio be selected. Floor the M3's throttle at any speed also it seemingly carries a deluge of torque being offered, making overtaking maneuvers particularly safe and effective. In the M3's upper echelons of revs, there's an angrier growl towards the exhaust, amplified over the cabin's speakers. Poodle out and about at lower speeds and you're coupled with an orchestra of snarling pops and crackles. The cover with the M3's subtle looks is blown apart by its soundtrack. 2 gearbox choices take prescription offer. A 6-speed manual or possibly a 7-speed MDCT dual-clutch gearbox is definitely an engineering marvel that maximizes the car's performance and efficiency. It's almost as smooth like a regular automatic transmission if you wanted to get, but switch between its 3 settings and you have an even more brutal mode, one through an engaging kick inside back of your seat when you blip from the gears together with the throttle spacious. The MDCT's the quicker, 4.1 seconds 0.62 miles per hour, versus the manual's 4.3 second time. Top speed is again tied to 155 miles per hour, and if that's not sufficient, there's the M3 Competition Pack, which has a power high to 450 horsepower, although torque remains exactly the same. This M3's far more concerned with stiffer, sharpened responses to correspond using its 0.62 miles per hour points in the 4.0 seconds MDCT and 4.2 seconds manual. One in the most agile cars of any type on discount sales. Steering is delightfully communicative. M3 a tad sanitized with electronics started up. For many compact executive car buyers and rival manufacturers, the handling benchmark on this class would be the BMW 3 Series Saloon. This sixth-generation model includes a legacy to reside in up to. Even its predecessor was considered being the segment's best car dynamically for the entire production run. Cementing its place for the head with the handling pack, this 3 Series iteration has stiffer underpinnings and bodywork than its predecessor, despite being longer overall. Crucially, its predominantly rear-wheel drive arrangement allows for the front wheels to become pushed out on the edges on the nose on the car for greater agility. This definitely makes the BMW a class act. The steering has pinpoint accuracy and is also beautifully weighted. There is lots of feedback with the steering wheel, allowing the driving force to feel at one together with the car. Body roll is minimal and a few series is very composed by way of a series corners because of excellent amounts of traction, even without the benefit for all-wheel drive. Many versions feature drive performance control that allows the motive force to swap between driving modes for the touch of your button. The modes consists of Eco Pro, Comfort, Sport with the extra level called Sport Plus is entirely on Sport and M Sport models. Here the driving force can vary parameters like steering weight, throttle response, gear change points on automatic models and also the firmness from the adaptive suspension where fitted. We strongly suggest that before buy a 3 Series, you sample versions with and with no adaptive suspension option. It's an alternative we would choose, adding a larger degree of comfort towards the BMW's ride quality. But should you're predominantly driving on motorways, you may feel it's not definitely worth the additional outlay. Adjustable BMW M3 handling. The 3 Series' handling prowess bodes well for that M3, containing also undergone an 80 kg weight-saving program compared featuring its predecessor within an effort to finesse its handling, with extensive using carbon fiber and aluminium. With most of its electronic stability systems on, the M3 remains a cozy yet devastatingly quick sports saloon, displaying agility more comparable to a two-seater roadster. Some might check out sensation as sanitized compared to M3s of old. The steering will push into safe understeer if tight bends are tackled straight away, but shut down the traction control and it also is not a hindrance. Its balance is impeccable, allowing drivers who prefer make use of the throttle to assist steering angle with buttocks movement to take action, and you'll need sharp reflexes to assemble it all up again when you're too liberal within your application from the accelerator pedal. Body roll is kept as small as possible even in Comfort model, but selecting Sport or Sport Plus taughtens the M3 to a level of being virtually rollless through corners. There offer a similar experience settings for that steering too, raising the weight although not the feel because you progress through them. Largely we found keeping it in Comfort was fine, the thick, padded tire rim as being a delight to keep and offering a reliable level of communication. Well made with high-quality materials. Yet it does not impress such as class cabin. Intuitive to work with controls make life easy. BMW has bestowed a few series saloon with one on the most driver-focused cabins around, using the center console angled considerably more acutely towards the motorist than its predecessor was. It's intuitive to work with logically arranged, and pleasing make use of, switchgear, like the iDrive multimedia controller using its rotary dial. Contemporary iDrive systems less difficult easier to navigate than earlier versions introduced way back in 2002, with additional shortcut buttons across the central knob and logical menus displayed around the multimedia screen that stands proud in the dashboard. While the within soft touch plastics are of your high quality, plus the dashboard's got a unique oblique styling theme for it, it somehow conspires to never feel as classy because interiors in the Audi A4 and Mercedes-Benz class do. There's a broad palette of colors available for these series saloons' interior plastic moldings, including a number of trim appliques in wood, metal and textured plastics. Differences inside the BMW M3 cabin. Save from many M3 specific features such as the seats, leader and automatic gear lever, you'd be hard-pressed to find out whether you were within the flagship sports model or maybe a lowly 316D. Yes, you could make it more special with BMW's exclusive package. Nonetheless, it should feel more special than lesser 3 Series anyway. This, though, is often a relatively minor criticism, since the M3's cabin is often a refined and comforting setup which to go, especially considering the wide selection of adjustment through the superb front seats, although we now have reservations regarding the gotchness from the illuminated M badges for the seatbacks. 3 Series blends sportiness with comfort. Adaptive suspension option. Looking at M3 is usable every single day without being too firm. On motorways, for example, the ride quality is very useful and road, wind and tire noise is minimal. Inevitably there's some engine noise, particularly under harder acceleration, from your diesels, while 318i petrols from your 2015 facelift use a characteristic 3-cylinder thrum. The front seats are really comfortable, plus the side and lumbar support are great. There's a lot of adjustment too. Even so, the electrical versions let you hone your driving position with more perfection. Move on the rear seats and you'll find a reliable amount of space for 2 main adults. In case space can be your primary requirement, then look at something more mainstream such like a Ford Mondeo, Skoda Superb or Vauxhall Insignia Grand Sport. BMW M3 is comfortable and rapid. There's no escaping the M3 saloon's rapidity and degrees of driver engagement, but equally impressive are BMW M3 comfort levels. The secret will be the adaptive suspension dampers each and every corner. Sure, once you put it into Sport or Sport Plus modes, it sharpens considerably, while using ladder setting making the ride particularly firm. Playing with comfort mode, you're unlikely to acquire many complaints from passengers. It's not just a comfort-oriented car though. With 19-inch alloy wheels shod in very slender yet wide rubber, you can find going to get odd jolts and noises but nothing particularly jarring. Depending which engine mode you decide on, it may be quite soothing from the cabin too, the 6-cylinder motor sounding almost subdued sometimes, should you want it to become, although tire or from your beefy rubber is usually tiresome on motorway jaunts in case you drive devoid of the infotainment system turned on. Front seat occupants are very well catered for, with superb seats offering support and grip without feeling such as your kidneys have already been pummeled from a long journey. Generous equipment levels throughout the range. M Sport will be the most popular. Be careful choosing options, the fee mounts quickly. Despite some experimental trim levels earlier within the 3 Series' life cycle with titles like Modern and Luxury, BMW finally settled down using a more familiar hierarchy outlined below. Standard BMW 3 Series saloon equipment. BMW 3 Series say. Wind the BMW clock back a few decades and say, for special equipment, models were more generously kitted out versions with the range. Nowadays it's the entry-level specification. 17-inch spoke alloy wheels. Cruise control with braking function. Electric windows and door mirrors. Automatic LED lights front and back. Automatic wipers. Matte black exterior detailing. Dual-zone climate control. Multimedia system with sat-nav, DAB radio and Bluetooth connectivity. BMW 320d Efficient Dynamics Plus. A unique trim specific towards the 320d efficient dynamics adds for the Say's kit roster with 16-inch spoke alloy wheels with low rolling resistance tires, active air flaps behind the grille, Dakota leather upholstery, heated front seats, BMW 3 Series Saloon Sport. Common to sport models are 17-inch double-spoke alloys, high-gloss black exterior detailing, sport-specific instruments and leader, sports front seats, cloth upholstery leather on 320d efficient dynamics, drive performance control with Eco Pro, Comfort, Sport and Sport Plus modes, switchable ambient lighting between white and orange, BMW 3 Series Saloon M Sport. The most favored trim level inside 3 Series range, in spite of the price hike on this adds this 18-inch M-Star spoke alloy rims, M Sport specific body kit, stiffened suspension, rear center armrest with cup holders, Dakota leather upholstery, anthracite headlining, M Sport specific instruments and tire, BMW 3 Series M Sport Shadow Edition. Joining the stove from summer 2017 would be the distinctive Shadow Edition version from the M Sport. It adds 19-inch M Sport double-spoke alloys, dark and light lenses, automatic main beam, darkened rear glass, high-gloss black exterior detailing, Harman Kardon speaker system, BMW M3 specs. For the performance flagship, the M Sport trim may be the starting point, while using M3 also gaining 19-inch M3 specific alloys, active M differential, adaptive M suspension, carbon fiber reinforced plastic roof, bootlid spoiler, extended merino leather, M3 specific instruments and tire, BMW M3 competition package. Topping the range will be the performance-focused competition package for that M3. 20-inch M3 star spoke alloys, competition-specific stiffened suspension, M Sports exhaust, light-weight front sport seats, BMW 3 Series Saloon, optional extras. Besides the standard extra cost options you'd expect to find like metallic paint, leather interiors as well as a wide choice of alloy wheel designs, many in the 3 Series Saloon's options are already bundled into packages representing better value for the money. Active Security Package, a safety pack comprising of lane change warning, electrically folding door mirrors along with the virtual cockpit described below. Advanced Parking Package, automatic self-parking using the reversing camera and all-round parking sensors. Innovation Package, many features bundled here including an upgraded sedan with online services, a head-up display function plus a Wi-Fi hotspot. Interior Comfort Package, a heated controls and front seats are joined with a sliding front armrest and split folding rear seats for more practicality. Professional Plus Media Package, highly advanced rendering for your 3D sedan display associated with online services for constantly updated information. Virtual Cockpit, a 10.25-inch screen takes the side of physical instruments that has a design that varies depending for the drive mode selected. Strong safety record for the 3 Series. But it's a more mature design than many rivals. Lots of safety kit remains optional. There's no doubting the inherent safety from the BMW 3 Series saloon, but it really is also worth noting that it can be an aging design that gained its 5-star Euro NCAP crash test rating way back in 2012. That said, BMW can be an advanced engineering company, and inside the years given it was introduced, the 3 Series has been manufactured available with much on the newer safety tech the firm has got. In addition on the usual raft of airbags and electronic stability software, all 3 Series saloons have full LED lights back and front that start automatically, rain-sensing windscreen wipers, rear parking sensors, and run flat tires with regard to added stability if the puncture occurs. Optional BMW 3 Series saloon safety equipment. Naturally, extra safety products are also available, however, you have to pay more for doing this. That means when you want desirable features including adaptive cruise control, it's one with the best, incidentally, automatic main beam, a head-up display function, or possibly a digital instrumentation binnacle, you'll ought to dig deep. Disappointingly, the driving assistant, a package that incorporates autonomous emergency braking, lane departure warning, and preventive pedestrian protection, is also within the options list. How many ICE-FIX points inside the BMW 3 Series saloon? ICE-FIX child C8 mounting points are located from the outer 2 positions from the rear bench seat, but because of the relatively compact dimensions in the 3 Series saloon's interior, fitting an adult from the center position afterwards will prove uncomfortable. Watch BMW 3 Series Euro NCAP crash test video. Compact 4-door cars are not the last word in automotive practicality, as well as the BMW 3 Series saloon doesn't alter this mindset. Strictly speaking, you can find 5 seatbelts, but 4 adults will travel considerably more comfortably from the car than if there's one more passenger sat from the middle from the rear bench. Regardless, those within the back below the knob on space to luxuriate and compared to pair beforehand. Storage for bits and bobs is sufficient as opposed to generous, with decently proportioned door bins, glove box, and cup holders. If you're progressing with a 3 Series saloon from a much more mainstream hatchback, it shouldn't show to be too daunting a proposition. All versions feature rear parking sensors as standard, helping judge the otherwise hidden rear end with the car, although you'll pay extra for the set with the front and reversing or 360-degree cameras. Size-wise it's relatively dainty, so locating a supermarket parking space or slotting it to your garage shouldn't prove too tricky. Outright practicality is not ordinarily a primary concern for buyers of 4-door cars, as demonstrated from the BMW 3 Series saloon stubby boot lid having a correspondingly small opening. The firm's argument is that should you need extra flexibility next, the hatchback 3 Series Gran Turismo and Estate 3 Series Touring are sold. You can boost the capacity from the 480-liter boot by opting with the split folding rear seats, however you'll ought to factor within the cost of another extra